We're talking about the new guy.
If you're a new guy and you step out blindly and you haven't done your homework, you'll be out of the trucking business in a year.
Really?
You'll never make it. Well, I don't wish no bad luck on anyone.
That's right.
Anyone that wants to step out there and try it, do your homework. Good luck. A lease operator is a lot different than an owner operator. An owner operator bought his truck, pays his insurance, buys his tags, does his IFTA, buys the fuel, finds the loads, does the loads, chases the money. A lease operator drives a truck for a company who calls him an owner operator and does all that for him. So there's a big difference between, the old way things were happening and the way they do now.
Now, do you see the market getting better?
No, we're done.
Really?
Yeah. In my 39 years, I've used a broker 4 or 5 years out of that time. I've never worked for another company. I've always had my own authority. And my experience with brokers is, for example, I call you and say, I have a load going from Homestead to Hunts Point Market, New York.
Right.
It pays you $5,000. The first thing you're going to do is take 40% off the top of it, which is now what? 40% from 5 is...
Just say you're taking over $2,100.
Yeah,
right?
let's say $2,000 for easy figuring.
Yep.
You sell the load to me for $3,000.
Right.
It cost me $1,200 in fuel. Now I want you to give me a com check and you charge me, instead of 10% broker rate, you charge me 13%. Then I get the com check and I go to the truck stop and they charge me 5% to cash it. Then when I do the load and I turn my paperwork in and I can't wait your 60 days, I want to be paid in 5, you charge me 5% for quick pay. So that $2,000, or pardon me, $3,000 that you started with, at the end turns into $1,200 you made.
And then the factoring company comes in.
Right.
So
now you're in New York
Right.
on Friday night, unloaded, and you got to wait till Monday to find something, which a broker's famous word would be backhaul, to get you to where the good load is.
Who made that up? Where,
I don't know, but I would like to kill him.
who made that up? Where it says, "Oh, you made money coming in, now you should do it for free coming out."
The broker sitting at the desk on the telephone that's never been out here. That's who did that.
Wait a minute. So 39 years of experience. Top annoying thing that you hate that you see truck drivers do at the truck stop?
35 mile an hour through the parking lot with the Jake brake going, and 40 miles an hour on the interstate clogging up the middle lane. The path of least resistance.
Hey, but you know what? Maybe that's as fast as they could go. So that's it.
No, they'll go at least 67. If I'm passing you on the right, you're the idiot. That's all I can tell you. And my favorite thing is the first question on any driving test should be, in your own words, describe the difference between yield and merge. Because you people do not know the difference.
I'll tell you, a lot less accidents.
Truck drivers included. When I was growing up, and old school guys, if a truck passed you, we blinked our lights at him, let him know he went by, and he blinked his lights back to say thank you. Now when a truck driver goes by you, he'll flip you a bird and try to hit you on the side of the road. Here's the difference between old school truck drivers and new school truck drivers. A new school truck driver will sit in his truck at the truck stop at 10 o'clock at night, pouring down rain, and watch you trying to back in to get parked and hit a truck, and then get on the CB and tell everybody how bad you can't drive. If he passes you on the side of the road and you're broke down with a flat tire, he'll probably take your mirror off when he goes by you, because he's not going to stop and help you. An old school truck driver in the truck stop will get out in the rain, help you back in, take you inside, have dinner with you. If he passes you on the road and you got a flat tire, he'll pull over, he'll get his jack out, he'll probably give you his spare tire. he'll help you get to the truck stop and get your stuff right, and then buy you dinner for helping you.
So you told me to turn back on the camera. You said, hey, you want to be owner operator? There's some expenses to this.
Yep. Here's $1,700 for an exhaust pipe, elbow, 5 clamps.
Going on, the truckers. I'm back at my old stomping grounds at the Mecca Chrome Shop. This is actually where I got my beginning, sir. I drove a truck for 10 years for North American Van Lines, and I'm a generational mover. All my uncles were movers, and they gave me a little studio right over here, and we would interview drivers. And so I appreciate you for being on the show.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate you asking me.
How long have you been driving a truck, sir?
39 years off and on.
Tell me a little bit about that. I know we don't have all day because you got places to go, right? But from your 39 years, what were some of the greatest experiences that you could think of just on top of your head? Like just either a great diner, some food, or a relationship or experience that you felt,
Well, I think if you want to start from the beginning, I learned how to drive a truck in the sod field right here in South Florida when I was around 5 or 6 years old. My dad would tell me to go get the truck from the shop, take it back to the field on the loading ramp, load 20 pallets of sod on it, put a rope on the front and a rope on the back, and drive it back to the shop and get the other one and come back and keep doing till we were done over the weekend. So that's probably my first memory of it. Who can talk about the back row of the 76 in Wildwood? If you're an old school trucker, you know all about that.
Yeah, I love that. In 39 years, everybody always says a lot has changed. A lot has changed. What are your thoughts about that for your experience about 40 years in the game now?
Today's truck drivers are a different breed of people. The truck stops made pull-through parking spaces and automatic trucks for the new guys. When I learned how to do it, we had a bungee cord that held the truck in 9th gear to go down the road. So, there's a lot of difference. We fixed our own tires. We changed our own oil. We found our own freight. We chased our own money. We did the load. It's not like that anymore. A lease operator is a lot different than an owner operator. An owner operator bought his truck, pays his insurance, buys his tags, does his IFTA, buys the fuel, finds the loads, does the loads, chases the money. A lease operator drives a truck for a company who calls him an owner operator and does all that for him. So there's a big difference between, the old way things were happening and the way they do now.
Would you say a lot of that has to do with these big mega carriers selling a dream to the newer truck drivers, or do you think that the newer truck drivers just aren't educated enough, sir?
I don't think it's education. I think that there's a lot that plays into a person becoming an owner operator who is not familiar with the industry in the ways that I feel you need to be to really become a true owner operator. Companies have found that they can make money off of guys that are eager and enthusiastic about becoming an owner operator. So they've came up with systems to put in place where the company buys the truck, the guy makes payments, $1,800 a week payments before fuel, and calls himself an owner operator. And anyone knows that if you're a true owner operator, you can't make an $1,800 a week payment and make money. And you can't split the money 3 ways. The company can't make money and you can't make money, and the guy that owns the truck can't make money. The driver will make money. The guy that owns the truck will pay the bills, and the company's getting their money before the guy that owns the truck. So,
and then if it all fails, and by the time that lease operator understands that he can't afford it anymore, they just put another truck driver and restart that program over and over, right?
That same truck will sell 4 or 5 times. By the time the first guy gets it, the truck's probably already got 300,000 or 400,000 miles on it. It's already been paid for. More than likely, it's on a lease through the company. And after so many miles, they can either give it back and get a new one, or they can sell it to a guy and call himself an owner-operator. So the company's making money like the brokers make money.
You know, that's the thing, right? People say, you know, we want broker transparency, you know, forget the brokers, get direct customers. Do you say that's all true, or do you think there's actually good brokers out there? Or is there a time and need to use the load board? What's your advice for the new guys? Because I do see that they're using the load board 98, 99% of the time, and then complain that freight brokers take all their money, but they're not. And I know it's not easy to get direct customers, but they're not making initiatives to even try to get direct customers, right? And so, you know, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, having a direct connection to a customer is only going to be fulfilled if you have what the customer needs. More than likely, the big companies can outdo you on the needs because they have more resources and, you know, more equipment. A one-guy operation would have to talk to a small guy operation to get some sort of dedication one way. In my 39 years, I've used a broker 4 or 5 years out of that time. I've never worked for another company. I've always had my own authority. And my experience with brokers is, for example, I call you and say, I have a load going from Homestead to Hunts Point Market, New York.
Right.
It pays you $5,000. The first thing you're going to do is take 40% off the top of it, which is now what? 40% from 5 is...
Just say you're taking over $2,100.
Yeah,
Right?
let's say $2,000 for easy figuring.
Yep.
You sell the load to me for $3,000.
Right.
It cost me $1,200 in fuel. Now I want you to give me a com check, and you charge me, instead of 10% broker rate, you charge me 13%. Then I get the com check and I go to the Truckstop and they charge me 5% to cash it. Then when I do the load and I turn my paperwork in and I can't wait your 60 days, I want to be paid in 5, you charge me 5% for quick pay. So that $2,000, or pardon me, $3,000 that you started with, at the end turns into $1,200 you made.
And then the factoring company comes in.
Right.
So
now you're in New York
Right.
on Friday night, unloaded, and you got to wait till Monday to find something, which a broker's famous word would be backhaul, to get you to where the good load is.
You know, who made that up? Where,
I don't know, but I would like to kill him.
you know, who made that up where it says, oh, you made money coming in, now you should do it for free coming out?
The broker sitting at the desk on the telephone that's never been out here. That's who did that.
You know, because you're out here in Florida. I just interviewed 2 guys out in El Paso, and they said that they get a great load coming here, a direct customer, but then they do use a direct freight broker that they have relationships with to get out of Florida,
Right.
and that makes them a little bit more money. A lot of times people say that, and when I've interviewed thousands of truck drivers, sir, and the thing they tell me is they say, hey, Alex, get in my local area, I could get a direct customer, no problem. They know me, they see my trucks, they understand what I'm about. But it's when I get to Homestead or I get to the other side
Where
that
you don't know anyone.
I don't know anyone. So for a new truck driver coming out of the game, just say they already have the experience. Just say they started at, you know, one of the big carriers or whatever that is now, because most people that I interview, and I think you would agree with this, they're not generational truck drivers anymore. They're the first one in their family. So they see something from Warner, Schneider, Nice and Wiv, JB Hunt. I'm just naming whatever one, right? Not sponsored by any of these people. All right. And just say 3, 4, 5 years, they're like, I'm ready to get my own truck. What's your best advice for that person to get started? I say we're in a recession right now. We're hurting right now. I've told every truck driver that wanted to get a truck, unless you have straight up the cash to buy a truck and sit it for 2 years or a year where it's paid off because you're getting it at half the price right now. Besides that strategy, I tell people don't get into the owner operator game right now. Thoughts on somebody?
Well, first of all, the owner operator as we know it is gone.
Really?
Yeah, it's you are not going to make the money and have the options as an owner operator did in the late 80s or 90s, because when all of your big factories throughout America closed down, people had to go to work, and truck driving schools is a big business. And now, because there's more people in the world, you have more trucks, you have more drivers, freight becomes cheap, it gets hard to find, and you have an abundance of trucks, so you can't name your price. You have to go with the flow to be competitive.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. So it's like we were talking about earlier. You believe that a one man or woman truck these days just can't compete. It's just hard to compete unless you know the owner of this company and have that type of relationship. They're gonna want to. And okay, I'm a business owner myself, right? So being a business owner myself, I think to myself, do I want to talk to 200 people a day or one person a day? And I think, the freight broker is the reason why they win that, right? Because
of course, because the one guy has access to 200 trucks for the guy that has one company, right. And you can't compete with that. And you can't. Let's just throw a figure. It costs you $1.25 a mile to run your truck.
Okay.
You can't haul freight for $1.50.
Right. Agreed.
I don't give a crap which way you go. And if you do, you're a fool, and you're making it hard for the other guys to succeed because you can't compete with that. If I haul a load that I feel is worth $3 a mile, mm-hmm. and I have a guy come in here and cut my rate to $1.50, and you're going to use him because you don't care about loyalty, you care about the bottom line. There's no loyalty anymore. That's the biggest problem in the trucking business, in my opinion.
They cut people.
They cut people out. Your best friend sitting next to you might be your best friend tonight, but tomorrow, if you two are competing on a load and he's cheaper, he's going to get it. And he'll cut your throat to do that.
Wow. There are some drivers, that they might watch this and then they go, man, he's speaking a lot of truth. And others, they might get a little upset because it is the truth, right?
The ones that would get upset about this would be the ones that don't have the experience in it.
I understand.
You can talk a lot of things and have a lot of opinions about stuff you don't know about, but the truth is the truth.
No, and so people bring up that broker transparency, right? Now, so if we go off that model, and now carriers, small owner operators know exactly what shippers are paying, you think that truck drivers will just start undercutting their best friends? Owner operators will just...
Oh, they do it every day.
They do it every day?
I don't think that you can compete with the brokerage system the way it is today. The brokers have unlimited resources. They have unlimited customers calling them, and they have unlimited trucks because you have an unlimited amount of guys that are trying to make it in the trucking business. And until they experience hauling an $800 load and blowing out a tire that costs you $800 for the tire and $250 for the service call and 3 hours of your time, or 4 if you're that lucky, by the time you get to the other end of it, you owe the people money for doing the load.
Right.
And you don't learn that by somebody telling you that. You learn that when it happens to you.
So would you say the only owner operators that probably have the best chance of survival now both own a small carrier and have a brokerage side? Because I've seen a lot of that.
No, I don't think that that's everywhere. I think that it is coming to where a new owner operator, unless he is spoon-fed or someone gives him a break. It's all about timing. Everything's timing. You can go buy a truck today and you can have the best deal set up, and you can buy a trailer, and the first day you go there it can change. Then what are you going to do? You're going to have to go put your truck with a company and hope you can make it and make your payments.
That's what's happening now to people.
That's what's happening now.
Yeah, what happened after COVID?
And really what happened after COVID was when you take a $60,000 truck and you sell it for $200,000 because of the ELD thing. Don't even get me started on the ELD.
No, we got to.
No, because for people that aren't understanding what's going on here, right? So when COVID happened, the world pretty much stopped, manufacturers stopped, and it made the used market crazy. When you would see a 2016 Freightliner going for $28,000, in 2018 they were going for $90,000.
Right.
And so I understand what you're saying there. And so
Well, if you do the math,
Yes,
let's
sir.
just say you got 10 years on a $225,000 truck.
Yep.
How many months is 10 years? That's 120 months.
Yep.
And you bought a $220,000 truck. Off the bat, that's $2,000 a month. Then you have to have insurance. My insurance went from about, I don't know, $15,000 a year to, with no accidents and no tickets, to $28,000 a year.
Isn't insurance a racket?
It's a ripoff, biggest ripoff in America.
So would you say if we had to list like top three things, is it the regulations, is it the fuel, or is it the insurance? What would kill a truck driver, owner operator first?
Truck payments,
Truck payments,
fuel costs,
fuel costs,
insurance costs.
insurance. Because I hear that so many times.
Yeah.
I have friends that own 5, 6, 7 truck fleet, and next thing you know, their insurance went up because they had a clean record. And we all know why that is because insurance is a pull. So at the end of the day, when
the biggest thing in the trucking insurance problem is people are sue happy.
ooh,
You know, if
remember that
you-
Warner thing?
If you get hit or you hit somebody because he's driving idiot and he runs into you,
Yeah.
you know, he's gonna sue you, no matter whether it's your fault or not, or he got hurt or he didn't.
I've seen that. All those nuclear verdicts, and you see those
Yeah.
guys in Texas with the great suit on saying, if you got into a crash with a trucker, I'm sorry, but I kind of hate that guy too.
I saw the commercial the woman was on there other night. They're listing all this. If you're in a boating accident or you're in an auto accident or if you got run over by an 18-wheeler.
Oh, my God.
You know, I mean, you are promoting people
Yeah.
to go out. Let me tell you what happened to me one time. I was coming through Atlanta. This particular time I went around the east side of Atlanta because I needed fuel. I did. I had it logged in my paper logbook, which ELD wasn't out then. A month later, I get a call from the owner of the truck, and he says, you got to call this guy from the Atlanta Police Department. He said that you were involved in a hit and run. I'm like,
What
okay,
hit and run?
What hit and run are you talking about? I call the guy at the Atlanta Police Department. The guy says, you need to go to your local law enforcement agency and turn yourself in. We're going to arrest you for hit and run. I said, sir, you got to come up with a little more than that. You got to tell me where I was and when this happened and all that, so I have an opportunity to prove to you where I was.
Right.
It turns out that I was stopped at the rest area in Marietta, Georgia on 75, and somehow or another, this individual gets beside me at the rest area or somewhere riding down the road, writes down my tag number,
Really?
writes down my truck number and my trailer number in his piece of shit beater car,
Scammers, man.
and calls the police department in Atlanta and tells them that I hit him on 75 on the bypass, on 475 on the west side.
So what ended up happening?
I had to submit my logs to the police department on the date and time that the suspect, or whatever you want to call him, said that I hit him.
Yeah.
I could prove on my log that I wasn't there.
So, hey, log saved you.
Log saved me.
You know, so your favorite subject, you didn't want to talk about it. Your ELD, you love them so much. Why?
The ELD has clipped the wings in the trucking business. For the people, old school guys know what I'm talking about. The new guys don't know. You know,
Can I debate that a little bit?
yeah.
You know, my uncle's an old school driver. And so, you know, the paper logs kind of, you know, he was a bed bugger, North American van lines like me. So every time we got stopped, the officer would say, give me all your log books.
Right. I almost went to jail in Alabama one time because when the guy asked me, where's your logbook? And I asked him which one.
And you were just joking.
I was just playing. He did not like that.
He did not like that, right?
Did not like
I remember, and tell me if this is real or not. I remember there was a rule back then where if you just said you didn't have your logbook, you'd get less in trouble than if they found something wrong in your logbook. So my uncle would just always tell him, "Oh, I don't know where my logbook is."
It really depends on what was wrong.
Right, I understand.
And really, I think it more depends on which DOT officer you get back then.
Oh, I agree.
They all have their own little book they go by.
Oh no,
and everyone interprets the law different.
Oh no, and I mean, I was a paper log guy. That's what we did. And as a bed bugger, I mean, that was the only way I could survive it, right? And
well,
you know,
I hauled cattle.
Oh yeah, no, I seen you guys flying by. We don't. Hey, we're not trying to say anything about anything. But well, how has ELD? You think? I feel like it's pressured people to drive when they're tired, because as soon as the clock hits, now you're going and you can't stop.
What's your name?
My name's Alex, sir.
Alex. Here's the difference. I used to load in Homestead, Florida.
Yep.
And go to Hanover, Pennsylvania. It's a 21-hour drive. Mm-hmm. I would overnight it, straight through.
You want me to edit this part out?
I don't care. You can't prove it now, but I would go to Hanover and unload.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And go around the corner and get my hotel.
Yeah.
And go to bed.
Yep.
And the next day I'd wake up and I'd load, and wherever I went, I'd be there the next day. Mm. But in the logbook, I could show leaving Homestead 12 hours earlier or later than I really did to make it fit when I got up there. Mm-hmm. And once you get by it, you can write what you want.
Right.
ELD, you can't do that.
Right.
You can't manipulate it.
You want me to keep... Hey, we're not going to say your name, sir.
Well, I don't care. But the problem with that, and the reason that guys say, "Oh, I love ELD," is because you never trucked without ELD.
Yeah.
So you don't know the difference.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, you can haul one or two more loads.
Right.
Where on an ELD, you're hauling less one or two loads a week because, and the shippers and the receivers and the trucking companies understand that you can't manipulate the logbook.
Right.
And because there is so much abundance of freight, instead of it taking me to go from Hanover or from Homestead to Hanover in a 2-day run, they make it a 4-day run.
Right.
To make it legal, the driver's rested well. So what happens? If you leave on Sunday and it takes you 4 days to make $2,000, and now you only got 3 days left.
Right.
It takes you a day and a half to get reloaded. The second load for that week is going to be on next week's pay.
No, I understand.
So
we'll say this as a disclaimer for fun.
Well, I will. Let me say this. I have an ELD in my old 2002 truck now.
Yep.
And I love it. You know why?
Why?
Because I turn it on in the morning when I get in the truck, and I turn it off in the afternoon when I get out, and I don't do nothing to it.
You don't got to do no paperwork.
I don't write nothing. I don't got to tell where I was.
And we'll say for a fun disclaimer for anyone watching this, all this outlaw talk he's talking about, he's joking.
Yeah,
Give him a wink. Give him a wink.
I'm joking.
Yeah, there it is. Hey, now we're good, guys. We're good. We're talking old school.
I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. I don't even drive a truck.
That's right. That's right. I found this guy in a McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, man."
My name's Tater Swift.
And we're gonna leave that at that. But no, I really appreciate your time.
I do too.
Thank you. I'm sure there's gonna be with some people mixed emotions. And, I think, honestly, you're right. If anyone gets upset about the things you're talking about, it's because...
You don't know.
They haven't done it.
That's right.
Right. And so, no, I appreciate you for this.
The only thing I'll say about this to all you guys that want to become owner-operators, you'll make more money and be a lot happier driving somebody else's truck.
Really? So
most definitely.
100% being a company driver or a lease operator for a successful guy? Operator. Or what?
A company driver.
Just a straight company driver.
Straight company driver. I don't care what company, how big, how small. You don't have to worry about repairs. You don't have to worry about buying tires. You don't have to worry about nothing.
Right.
You drive the truck from point A to point B, and you get paid.
And so you would say 100%. If I put the title of this video, you know, 39-year-old, not 39-year-old,
Yeah, I
because
wish I was
you're only
39.
27 years
Yeah,
old,
right.
but 39 years of experience trucking, you know, says that company drivers make more than owner operators in this market today.
Today.
Would that be fair?
Let's not compare it. You know, you got a lot of things going on here.
Yeah, because I know there's going to be some owner operators that are gonna be like, I'm a cattle hauler and I
Right.
make.
I mean, some owner operators can do very well
Right.
because of timing
Right.
and because of where they are when it happened.
But we're talking about the new guy.
If you're a new guy and you step out blindly and you haven't done your homework, you'll be out of the trucking business in a year.
Really?
You'll never make it.
No, I
Never
appreciate
make
that.
it.
Yeah, I got to think about,
Unless you get lucky.
and that happens.
It happens.
But I don't like to
Out
trust
of
luck.
10 guys,
Yeah,
if you all went today,
yeah. How many will make it? How many will make it?
3,
Really?
3.
Oh my gosh.
4.
Now, do you see the market getting better? Do you,
No, we're done.
really?
Yeah. Between now and November, America is not going to ever be the same
You believe this?
with whole heart.
All right. Appreciate this conversation. At the end of the day, you know, I think anyone that's smart can read through what you're saying and take some education out of this, you know,
Right.
because I still champion anyone that gets into this business to at least know the information and know what's coming at you. So at least you have a chance.
Well, I don't wish no bad luck on anyone.
That's right.
Anyone that wants to step out there and try it, do your homework. Good luck.
No, I
It's
love that.
tough.
It's tough right now.
It's tough.
No, I heard that. No, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man.
No, that was great.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
think?
yeah.